It's that time again where vlogging is going to be a pretty important factor in the channel. And so for today, July 12th, 2022, I do declare 14 years, one day, it has been since I first started the channel. And you know what? I have perfect justification as to why this is a late bloomer. I mean, the 15th anniversary is coming next year, and I certainly can't wait for that sort of thing to take place. But until then, 14 years, one day, I can pretty much explain that, first of all, this is late because I took 11 whole days going along to the East Coast, touring all kinds of places here and there, getting to meet up with some great people here and there, mostly on account of social media of all sorts. So you know what though? Now that I'm back, I'm more than happy to get back to work on all this stuff. And after a few days of getting it on with some more HJN and Megapix weekly videos, I will say, first of all, the milestone challenges and unofficial podiatry things that I said I was going to do, they seem to be very delayed, and I will deeply apologize for these things. A lot of things in general, they've hardly gotten any updates to them, hardly have any status quotes on them, and I really do feel there's not much courtesy happening on the channel right now. So I don't know where else I could possibly go with this other than just straight up apologizing about all this stuff. But I feel like looking back at all the things that I've done lately, times sure are changing. Maybe not all for the better, but this is a much better timing than anything that's happened last year. So I will point out, first of all, that this year alone, I do have a lot of things planned out. I also do have myself a supposed films I should have talked about years ago, season 2, in the works. Unfortunately, that's gonna take a little while longer. I still have to get things ready, put together the episodes, get them rendered, and have them all set up in time for the new release date that I'm going to be putting up. So August 9th, it'll be, which is almost a month from now. So I'll definitely have plenty of time to work on this stuff. But I also had to continue my work on Hot Wheels Hilarity Season 7. Of course, we also can't forget to mention the Vlogathon Part 5, I Found It First Season 2, Facecam Specials Insurgents Part 6, and Why's That 3.0. So I felt like it was necessary for me to start working on that as well, especially considering the fact that all this other stuff doesn't really seem to be much of a challenge. But let's just not forget the fact that every now and then I might make a few changes, might have the dates switched up in terms of release status. Not everything is going to be possible, just as I would originally pan out. The main reason is simply because of all the hard work that I have to do just to keep myself on top, financially, successfully, otherwise. I basically have to establish a living, have myself a life, like millions of people around the world have to do nowadays. A lot of problems have established in recent months, and it's up to me now to make things right for myself and others along the line. And I will tell you, while I feel like that nothing's ever going to compare to the atrocious abomination that was the year 2021, this year seems to be a bit of an endurance test. How well can you survive with little to no way of knowing how bad the economy might become? And at the same time, of course, civil rights are being taken away from people all over the country and even the world. So politics seem to be pretty much at the top by this point. I'm not really surprised at all that. And then, of course, all this other stuff that's been interfering with my daily life, including encounters with others, many of which are not so savory. And then, of course, it just so happens that I got my very first ever case of credit fraud. Yeah. Hackers try to take away all the credit that I have. Yeah, you probably get the picture. There's been a lot of tough stories that I have to deal with here. Lots of injuries, lots of sickness. I can hardly breathe right now. A lot of this work is so hard, my lungs can barely hold up on their own. So, let it be known by this point, while this year is certainly a million times better than a lot of others, it sure is not doing us a lot of favors, for the most part. But I just know for a fact things are going to change for the better. We can reverse the many atrocities that took place this year. We can make it right. We can get ourselves back on track. We can succeed. And we can triumph. So, at the end of the day, that's just all I have to talk about that part. But going back to my work, if I ever have to pick out 10 basic things that I have to do on the channel right now, then for the rest of this entire year, you will be seeing the likes of production, which will in fact center around films I should have talked about years ago, vlogathon, face cam specials and surgeons, as well as all other known gaming with Kaiju Force Neo Media, unofficial podiatry, milestone challenges, Hot Wheels hilarity, and I'll also be working on some more material for future Nerf Secret Revealed projects, which I'll have in the works. Someday there will be a Distance Gauge Part 2, and then there will also be an Aftersought Part 2 as well. Not to mention Lockbox, which is another thing that'll happen in 2024. Basically, a bit of a recovery project, where all the missing stuff, all the things that have had to be terminated mid-production and all that good stuff, they will be brought onto YouTube for the very first time, recreated from the ground up. So that way each and every bit of glory can be represented from those original projects that I just so happened to scrap because they did not get my approval at the time. And now, it's about time that I do have the ability to put them up on the channel and see how they are appreciated. And so, that's just all I have to report for today. But I will indeed come up with some more things to talk about here. And I will also be sure that the Vlogathon 5.0, I Found It First Part 2, Facecam Specials and Surgeons Part 6, Hot Wheels Hilarity Season 7, and just about everything else that I have planned going forward throughout the next year or so. And I do hope that they all turn out well. So, hard work, a few notifications from YouTube themselves, thinking that I'm in violation of their community guidelines. Like, wow, how are my channel's videos made for kids? Like, for real though. How are they made for kids? That doesn't make any sense. So, if you want to see more, go down on my channel to make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.